if you watched the last video of Max against Harmony MedTech, that was against Flowers Can Drink. I'm playing against the same player now. We went for a rematch. He changed his deck up to an NBN deck, while I stuck with Regex because I wanted to get some practice in. Now, let's talk about opening hand. We are up against NEH. Both opening hands suck. I would stick to my choice of mulliganing the first hand any day. It's just that the second hand is just as bad. My first hand is terrible because there's no card draw. Okay, no, sorry, you don't need card draw. Let's analyze each card. Data Sucker is bad. In the Astrobiotics matchup, you assume Astrobiotics unless otherwise proven otherwise. Data Sucker does absolutely nothing except to make insta-parasiting toe moves easier. Mimic is good. That's about as good as it gets. Retrieval Run is pretty useless. It's too expensive for you to play. KD Jones is too slow for a NEH hub, and Imp is kind of redeeming, but you really need some burst economy early on to complement the Imp. Now my Mulligan hand has the same Mimic and Imp. It has Parasite as well, which is really good. I'm quite welcome to see that. It can easily destroy pop-up windows and quandaries. Knife. Knife is okay until you realize that you really wish you had a Corroder to go with that. What use is a knife if you don't have a Corroder or a Morningstar? And same old thing is okay, but it doesn't help with early play at all. And my first draw is a clone chip. So the good news is there is a Sucker and David in the heat, which means clone chip can be of some use. The bad news is that without any money, my only other possible opening play is to click for 3 credits. Is this the correct play? Please enlighten me if that is not the case. It might be that drawing is better, but this is not prepaid Kate. If I draw into something that is not a money card, what do I do after that? Do I discard more programs, my knife? I don't feel comfortable with that. So instead, I wait for the auto draw, and it does give me a daily cast, which I am looking to play ASAP. So I begin running because I just installed my Imp, and I do find the lucky Sensitivity Grid to trash. Then I play the daily cast. It's the first priority. I need to get those credits flowing ASAP. In the meantime, here I make a big mistake. I should be using the Imp to trash as much as I can, but I decide to wait for him to res some stuff. Pet campaigns, daily business shows before going to trash them. To trash them without having to pay multiple runs. Alright, so I try R&D. I see a Data Raven, so now I know this is the horizontal NEH hub deck. And I immediately place my Parasite on the Data Raven, knowing that this deck doesn't have a solution for Strength 4 Mimics. It does in Data Sucker, admittedly, but you don't want to eat the tag from Raven, so Parasite is a must. Alright, he continues installing stuff, and I definitely want to trash the daily business show, but before I do that, I suspect that he is trying to sneak an agenda out right here, because he thinks that I'm going to trash the daily business show with my Imp. So first I play the Inject, which I just drew, and I draw into lots of money, finally. So the money is more important here, so I decided not to trash the daily business show. That was a huge mistake. I should have trashed the daily business show and then play the same old thing. In retrospect, why? Because the daily cast that's ticking down will give me 2 more credits, so I didn't have to click for credits to play the gamble. Last turn, I wasted 2 clicks clicking for credits, which should have been used to trash the business show. And as you see, as this game continues, because of time constraints, I end up not trashing the daily business show for quite some time. It also didn't help that he purged Virus counters after that. So I had to use my money to trash it, which was a huge waste. So purging was a very good move for the corp there. Not only did it force me to pay 4 credits to trash the DBS, more importantly, it reset the Parasite tokens. So R&D is locked out for me for a couple more turns, which is important. And I did a face check on HQ and 4 credit swung in his favor with 2 pop-up windows side by side. Very tempting to bring out Parasite here, but without any legwork to back them up, it's not much of a worthy play. And again, this is the problem with this deck. With only 1 out of 46 or 7 cards that pressure HQ, it's a bit problematic, don't you think? And I really used up my Imp. So unless I want to clone chip the Imp and run HQ, I don't think that's a wise choice. HQ shouldn't have any agendas anyway. If you think about it, if there are agendas, he's going to play them on the board. This is horizontal NEH. He wants to activate his diversified portfolios, so checking HQ is probably not an option. So, at this point, I'm going to check his remotes in case there are upgrades or assets. I bring out my imp and I access the Cyberdex virus suite. Woohoo! Great. I lost one tutor. I lost 2 credits from the imp, and that achieved completely nothing. Well played, sir. Well played. That was rough. And worst of all, there was a parasite on the board. So once again, his data raven gains more longevity. This is really annoying. And of course, because now Cyberdex is in archives, Data Sucker becomes something that is not really worth playing, because archive runs won't charge it unless I do retrieval runs. Alright, so he fortifies R&D. Bad news. I do have a couple credits now, and I'm going to take them off KD Jones. As I said, KD is a bit slow for the near hub game, but I really need the money now because I'm not able to use Imp to trash all his assets. I've played 2 Imps already, and yeah, I've run out of them. And I don't want to spend any more recursion on Imps. That's ridiculous. So I will have to earn money the hard way and trash his assets and upgrades the hard way, which gives him a lot of room to get off his second daily business show, which is really helping him. I'm very sure he's burying all his NAPDs and views like no tomorrow, knowing that I'm pretty aggressive in face checking his remotes. So once again, this is the problem with playing Max instead of Andy Desperado, instead of Kate with Astrolabe. With horizontal play, you don't really gain much. The only thing in your deck that is encouraging you to make multiple runs are the viruses, namely Data Sucker and Medium, both of which do not work on horizontal remotes like this. And of course, his scores Doge Pilot Program, because I failed to check one of his Sense. Not that I would have trashed it anyway. I really need those credits. I've barely set up my rig. So I make it a priority to trash his Sense now and just hope that he didn't have 2 more Astro Scripts sitting in hand. Who knows? Well, it seems like that's the case. I'm getting off the hook for now, and he's anyway too poor to score anyway. But I need to be really careful. Very soon, he gains a lot of credits because he plays 2 more remotes and plays a diversified portfolio. Very, very annoying. The good news is his Data Raven's gone. Finally, after all that purging, I finally have a shot at his R&D, and it couldn't have come at a better time because I have a retrieval run, I have a medium, I'm ready to rock. But the question is, what's the R&D ice? Okay, I'm not going to find out the hard way, so I'm just going to retrieve my medium. Not the Corroder, that was a misclick. I retrieve the medium, and then I make a run on R&D and hope that my clone chip can deal with whatever comes my way. Luckily for me, well, it wouldn't have mattered even if I retrieve a run to retrieve the Corroder. Either way, both were coming out. So I'm going to break that wraparound, and I access an NAPD contract which I cannot steal. 1 credit short, no worries. Unload KD Jones, run again. This time I can break through, access, and gain 1 more virus counter, stealing the NAPD. I desperately needed that. So, now that he knows that R&D is in trouble, with the Data Raven gone, probably should have purged, I don't know. Purging every 3 turns is probably not an optimum strategy, but now that he has run out of money, I mean, he's not that rich, he hasn't found any pet campaigns, and his marked accounts is dry. He desperately needs something to stop me from the medium hemorrhaging. So this is his solution, mid-season's replacements. He only had 7 credits, so he didn't boost the trace, and with only 1 credit, I decided to tag float all the way from here on out, which is a very bad idea. This deck is heavily reliant on resource economy. It's not running day job, it's running liberated accounts. You can't go with, and same old things, yes, same old things are very important. But I decided to just go all in and try to find the last 5 agenda points before he scores out to victory somehow. He does rest 2 DRTs. I was not concerned with getting flatline here because he only had 4 credits. I knew that there was no combination of snares and DRTs that could kill me. So he did rest 2 DRTs, which should cost me all 4 of my cards. I didn't need all 4 of them, so no worries. And I have the same old things ready to Levi or whatever if needed. So now my first priority, since I've decided to go down the tag floating route, would be to clear DRTs off the board. This means that I need 2 cards to run into the first DRT, and thankfully he gave me a very good opening to do this. He's only on 1 credit, so I don't need to worry about him raising another DRT against me. So I can safely trash this one, lose all of my cards. I have no more cards left in my hand or my stack. That's fine, because I still have same old thing to Levi back. And since he's poor, I'm just going to take this opportunity to trash the other DRT as well. So now my next agenda is to Levi. Yeah, there's really nothing else I can do. I cannot run right now. Now I can. Because he chose to purge virus counters instead of gaining credits. It means that he still does not have enough money to rest a DRT. Without pack campaigns, without marked accounts, I'm just going to run R&D and reload that medium to continue placing a threat on R&D. I see an Eli, that's bad news. Eli is not a friendly ice to break. Alright, so fun time's over. I'm pretty sure he'll gain credits at this point. So I cannot run safely. And he's evil, so he plays close accounts against me, clearing like 8 or 9 credits from me. So here I have no choice but to click for credits, and once again, because he's on less than 2 credits, I can afford to run R&D. It gives me a lot of opportunities to load down medium counters. I'm not going to say no. I find the Astro script. I should have accessed 2 cards here. I think I did not access 2 cards here. That could have been game changing. Anyway, the game goes on. He's still pretty poor, but now he has a marked accounts taking away, and he does take credits now. So I need to make a decision right now. If I click for credits and then Levi, I'm going to give him a lot of time to score the next agenda. If I choose not to do so, I could die to DRT. So now I try running R&D thinking that the outer ice was the Eli that I just saw. Turns out it's a pop-up. So I'm just going to pay through it. He has 4 credits. I'm just going to run through. Only if one of the last 2 cards he plays was a DRT will I die. And sure enough, it is a DRT there. I find a build, but that's not enough to take me to the game win. And I lose by flatline. I didn't think he found the 3rd copy of DRT. You must remember that his 3rd DRT was installed after I trashed the first one. Basically, I thought that the chances of him finding all 3 DRTs was rather slim, and turns out I lost the bet. But it's not much of a surprise really, considering that I let him get a DBS uncontested for more than half the game. Of course he would find all 3 copies of his DRTs. Mid-seasons is absolutely cruel against regex, because unlike prepaid kit, you really cannot afford to float tags because you're so resource reliant, and you run less money than prepaid kit as well. So yes, it's just awful. If you don't find the mid-seasons with your imp, you're pretty much screwed when it hits. And yes, he ran all the tag punishment in the world save for Scorched Earth, but who needs Scorched Earth anyway when you can close the runner's accounts, res all the DRTs, and he even had a Psycho build ready to be pumped. He just didn't have the credits to play it. So it's a very strong deck, and I wasn't able to play well against it. Hopefully I can improve on my gameplay, because this will be one of the best NBN archetypes in the post-clock world. People will be playing this. Thanks for watching and happy net running. Goodbye.